Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 58 of Brat Said That. May the 4th be with you. I'm your host, Jedi Brat Jackson, along with the Sith Lord, that is my co-producer, CHAD LE GEPETTE. And as you can tell, today's theme is going to be Star Wars. I got Star Wars in the background. Star Wars. We're going to talk all about that at the end of the show. It's a phenomenon. Absolutely phenomenon. I don't know really, like, the first time I kind of grasped what Star Wars was. I will say this before we get started. We're going to get to Raw. It just ended. We're going to talk about that and Backlash. But I think the first time I ever knew what Star Wars was episode 1. My dad used to get us, like, Pepsis, and they used to have, like, the characters on the Pepsi cans. And then I love Jar Jar Binks, and the prequels, the sequels, the first 3, the second 3, the third 3, it's a mess, but we're going to get that at the end of the show. We just want to welcome everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We had a great weekend. We went out yesterday for Mom's dinner. She had a great time. Love seeing her. Still a spry young lady, and she's doing amazing. She's doing great. But we will have to talk about it right now. Monday Night Raw just ended, and we're going to run down the whole show because Backlash is in just 5 days. The last Raw before Backlash. I feel like we just got over WrestleMania, and now we're just going towards Backlash. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker, all he did today was spear Seth Rollins. Like, Seth Rollins came out to a promo, Braun Breaker speared him. The Street Profits came out to save Joe Hendry after his match with Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker speared Seth Rollins. Not a good look for Seth Rollins this week, but maybe he should take a little hint from, like, Bret Hart. If you're gonna have a guy that's gonna spear you, maybe you can wear, like, a metal padding in your shirt and not get so speared. I mean, your ribs, come on now. Joe Hendry, like we said, came out. Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? And I think that little hint is Paul is a.k.a. Triple H's real name. So, Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? But then they're like, well, Logan Paul, you're not going to face Joe Hendry tonight. Austin Theory is. And then those two went at it. And then, like I said, Street Profits, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins. So those 3 or 4 are like, hey, stay out of my business. And they're like, well, the vision is my business. And because of you, the vision is here. And it's like, okay, a lot's going on Raw. Unfortunately, we're going to look at the Backlash card. But, it's still only going to be 5 matches. But they have so much more going on. The stories they can have on Backlash. The Judgment Day, yada, yada. Liv Morgan, stay away. Roxanne Perez, stay away from Finn Balor. Finn Balor is like, hey, I'm just showing you that the Judgment Day is bad. And Roxanne's like, I don't care. So that's going to eventually lead a split down the middle. And it's going to, it's obviously going to lead to Finn Balor going to be the one to show Roxanne Perez, hey, don't hang out with those guys. They're bad. Maybe a Finn Balor Intercontinental. Oh, wait, no, he's not the title anymore. Speaking about the Intercontinental Championship, I'm glad I brought that up because I didn't write it in my notes. Great tag team match. A really, really, really good tag team match. Penta, Smooth Operator, and Javon Evans, That Boy Bouncy, Rusev, and Ethan Page. Really, really good match. Good, we always talk about, like, oh, there's no wrestling on Raw and all this and all that. Really good match. I thought those 4 would eventually break off to have a fatal 4-way at Backlash, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But one thing we do have at Backlash is it's going to be Roman Reigns defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Jacob Fatu, his little cousin, as they like to say. Listen, seeing Roman Reigns as, like, World Heavyweight Champion, it's like seeing, like, a legendary sports player in, like, a different jersey at the end of his career. Like, he's still the champion, but, like, I'm so used to seeing him with, like, the Universal Championship, the WWE Championship. Seeing him with the World Heavyweight Championship is kind of weird. But, now they got the whole Tongan death grip and like, that, the move that Jacob Fatu brought from his ancestors that he's finally going to come and overconquer Roman Reigns, but I think Reigns is going to retain. But we're going to talk more about Roman Reigns versus a certain company that has 3 letters in it, and no, it's not KFC. And then Open Femi, he comes out strutting. Dun, dun, dun. This is all out of order, by the way. Open Femi come out strutting, and then they're like, I'm going to issue open challenge, and Akira Tozawa comes out with Maxine and Otis, and Tozawa's like, you know what, Otis, you're in here. And there's these 2 big beefy boys slapping meat, and I loved it. Oba got Otis all the way up for not only his finisher, but that one move where he just throws a dude and drops him. That was great. I love these Oba Family Open challenges. It's going to go on for a couple of weeks, and then he's going to eventually have to be like, oh, this guy is kind of on my level. Maybe a Bronson Reed comes back or somebody like that can put Oba Family on his butt. But what they're doing with Oba Family is great. It is wonderful, and I'm all for that. So that was Raw. Nothing crazy happened. It all leads to Backlash. We're going to look at the Backlash card. I think this is the official Backlash card besides what's going to happen on SmackDown, which we'll get to next show. But, so Backlash, it's going to be in Tampa. Never been in Tampa. Or maybe I have. I don't think I have. No, I haven't. So, Seth Rollins versus Ron Breakker. We know that's going to happen. Finally, Io versus Asuka. Io and Asuka had a little promo, and then Io got real close, and Asuka got real close. And Asuka sprayed in Io's face. You should know that. You're with her for like 20 years. You should know don't get too close to Asuka, or she's going to spit in your face. Trick Williams with Little Yachty versus Sami Zayn, WWE United States Championship match, and Danhausen and TBA. This is a good mystery. I'm really looking forward to it. That's what happens when you don't have a set. It just breaks. It just breaks on you. But I'll just talk like this. Talk casual. Talk cool. How you doing? Yeah. Danhausen and TBA versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. I'm hearing a lot of different rumors of who might be coming back. Maybe Elton Prince. Imagine Kit Wilson's former tag team partner. Somebody's. Maybe you can bring a Santino Marella. Or, a Hurricane. I read that somewhere. This is not original ideas off the top of my head. Maybe CM Punk, Pepsi Phil, or somebody. Maybe, maybe you, maybe me. Maybe this is what they should do. Bring back Nicholas. Yes, bring back the former tag team champion, Nicholas. We have not seen him since the night after WrestleMania 34, when he won the tag team championship with Roman Reigns. No, not Roman Reigns. With Braun Strowman. That kid's like 18, 19 now. That'd be funny. Danhausen and Nicholas. And then you got Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. So where does this lead? I know Punk and Cody was doing a little promo. And Gunter. See, I'm still stuck in like former names. So I think they should add another match, but 5 and 6 are usually what happens on a PoE nowadays. But that's going to be a good Backlash card. Speaking of a Backlash, we did this a lot with WrestleMania. We're not going to do this every single week, but ESPN did put out a list of notable matches in Backlash history, and we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. This is from ESPN.com. Backlash 1999, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Right after the WrestleMania 15 encounter, you had Austin and The Rock, and they went at it. I mean, when the two height of the Attitude Era, those two, you milked the cow at WrestleMania, and there's still some milk left over. So Vince McMahon was like, you know what, I'm going to milk this more. Shane McMahon is a special referee, stacking the odds against the champion. And, Austin overcame it, defended, yada, yada. It was, not yada, yada. It was a classic match. Backlash 2000, this was great. Backlash second installment featured another marquee Attitude Era showdown with the Triple H defending his WWE Championship against The Rock. Triple H won the... No, did he not win the... No, he was a WWE Champion going into WrestleMania 2000, right? I believe. And now he's over here at Backlash 2000. This time it was The Rock who was at a disadvantage. Not only did he have Triple H in the way of the fourth WWE Championship, but also Shane, Vince, and Stephanie. However, Linda McMahon brought out Earl Hebner to replace Shane and helped The Rock win it. So yeah, The Rock won it. And so this is one of my personal favorite matches of all time. Backlash 2004, Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton in a no-holds-barred street fight, whatever. And, the men's Intercontinental Championship was on the line, so you knew Randy was going to retain. I think so. I don't think they were going to put the title on Foley, but, the thumbtacks, Orton going for the RKO, and Foley pushing him off and going deep butt first in the thumbtacks, and then the barbed wire and bat trash cans, and Orton retained. Really kind of showed Orton that he can handle himself. He doesn't need Evolution. Yeah, no, he would be kicked out of Evolution later that year, but that was top 5, maybe top 3 favorite matches of all time. Backlash 2009 and Edge versus John Cena. Now 2006 was really their time. The TLC match, the SummerSlam match, the cash in at New Year's Revolution. They should have fought at WrestleMania, but things change. But let's see, the last man standing match at the back end of the stretch. Oh yeah, this is when the Big Show took John Cena and yeeted him into a spotlight, and then and then he couldn't answer the 10 count, and that's why Edge won that battle. That was really cool. I remember that one. I didn't know it was Backlash, but then Backlash 2020, Randy Orton versus Edge, billed as the greatest wrestling match of all time. This was just as COVID was like, hey, we're shutting things down, and they're like, we need to do something, and they had a cinematic match that lasted like an hour. They battled through all of Stamford, Connecticut. It was weird. The match went about 45 minutes, and it was worthy of the tagline. So, listen, I have never gone back and watched anything of COVID. From like the Rumble 2020 when Edge returned to like SummerSlam 2021, I don't watch any of that. The Thunderdome, it's just like bad juju. Like, I used to work, or still do, but working in a supermarket, being an essential worker, jeez, toilet paper was off the shelf. Backlash 2022, Rousey versus Charlotte. I don't remember this. No disqualification. I don't remember that. See, Ronda Rousey's WWE run, as it was entertaining in the beginning, once she stopped caring about it, I stopped caring about it. Like, after that WrestleMania 35 main event, I couldn't care about Ronda Rousey too much. I'm looking forward to her fighting in a few weeks. We will talk about that soon. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest, one of the greatest entrances of all time. Bad Bunny coming out in his hometown as San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is in America. Crowd was electric. I just remember he coming out with a kendo stick, and they were all chanting. And then Damian Priest put on a hell of a match with Bad Bunny, one of the greatest celebrity wrestling matches of all time. That was great. And the Puerto Rican crowd, thumbs up for you. Backlash 2024, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. I don't remember this too much, but Rhodes versus Styles, I mean, how could you go wrong with that? And then last year, John Cena versus Randy Orton. That was in St. Louis. The last time these two fought each other. And, Randy Orton versus John Cena had that rivalry that's going to be remembered. That's good. There's a couple of R's in there. That's going to be remembered forever. The Piper and the Hogan, the Austin and the Rock, and the Randy Orton and John Cena. I think that's who should induct John Cena into the Hall of Fame, and vice versa. And that's when R-Truth came back too. When they're going to do again with Kerry Sane this weekend, I guarantee it. Like Men's Warehouse. Brat's Warehouse, I guarantee it, they're going to have Kerry Sane come back. And because she should have never been fired or released in the first place, especially with that storyline going on. By the way, my hair looks fantastic. But we did talk about a little bit of Roman Reigns versus TKO. Now, let's get to that because TKO has been on my shit list. Bratwurst winner for a while, and now you're messing with the tribal chief Roman Reigns versus TKO. What are we even talking about? Okay, first off, Roman Reigns, tribal chief, the face of WWE, the guy. He's been the top guy for the last 10 years. Okay? TKO, the company that owns WWE and UFC. Okay, so it's basically Roman Reigns versus his boss. Okay? I don't want any angles or matches. I really want to know what's going on with those two because that would make this segment. So, let's see. Roman Reigns remains WWE World Heavyweight Championship despite fan backlash and speculations about tensions with TKO Holding Group. Alright. Following WrestleMania 42, fans expressed strong dissatisfaction with TKO's management during Roman Reigns' post-appearance. The backlash stems from perceived over-commercialization, rising ticket prices, multiple subscription platforms, and creative decisions. Now, this is where it gets juicy. Reigns' contract reportedly ends in May 2026, which is now, fueling speculations about his future. However, there's no confirmed report or a contract breakdown or reconstruction. TKO executives have significantly creative control over WWE, which leads rumors of Reigns' potential departure, but insiders have clarified that he will continue to defend his championship, including Backlash 2026. Obviously, I don't see Reigns losing to Jacob Fatu. The tension between Reigns and TKO highlights a broader fan concern about WWE's direction under corporate ownership. While Reigns remains a central figure, the tribal chief, acknowledge him, the fans' response indicate a disconnect between management decisions and audience expectations. WWE continues to advertise Reigns for May shows, though he has been removed from some June programming, likely due to scheduling, blah, blah, blah. But here's what the summary says. Roman Reigns is not leaving WWE. I don't think he is. And continues to hold the World Heavyweight Championship. The versus TKO narrative reflects fan frustration with corporate decisions rather than the actual feud between Reigns and company. Fans should expect Reigns to appear in upcoming events, defend his title, and remain a key figure in WWE storylines, despite ongoing criticism of TKO's management. Now, I don't think TKO should touch Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is your guy. He's the leader. He is QB1. Okay? He is the tribal chief. He is all the other acronyms that you want to give him. Okay? He is the money. He's been the more main events of WrestleMania than anybody in history. Okay? And I just think with all this TKO nonsense, and, I don't like TKO. I love WWE. I love UFC. But TKO just needs to kind of know their place. And whatever Roman Reigns wants, you give Roman Reigns, okay? Because he is the big ticket. He is the guy. He is your tribal chief. So don't mess with the head of the table, okay? Or else there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to throw the table out and move on and not watch any of the products. But speaking about products I don't watch, we do need to talk about AEW. We'll talk about AEW a little bit since, it is a wrestling promotion and they are having their big show, Double or Nothing, in Queens, New York, which I'm very familiar with, at the Louis Armstrong Stadium, May 24th, so that's in 20 days. Only 2 matches have been announced. Okada versus Takeshita for the AEW International Championship, and FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler versus Edge and Christian and Cope and Cage. We know. Tag team I Quit New York Street Fight for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. If Cope and Cage lose, they must retire as a tag team. So that is what AEW's promoting for Double or Nothing. I remember being at Double or Nothing, what was it, last year or 2 years ago? Yeah, that one was in Vegas, and I got to see Edge break both of his ankles in a match against Malachi Black, who I don't think you're going to see on AEW once again. We talked about the releases last time, and there's some speculations that Malachi Aleister Black is not well liked. Booker T even said, when's the last time you can tell me an Aleister Black match, which, I don't agree with. I think he's a great talent. I don't know what it is backstage, but, something's got to be done. But we'll look at AEW. I guess the Collision happened May 2nd. Jack Perry is the AEW National Champion. He defeated Mascara Dorada. Willow Nightingale is an AEW TBS champion still. I know Ace Austin and Juice Robinson, I think the Gun Club came back, so that's good for them. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg are top notch, so good to see the Guns come back. Kevin Knight is your AEW TNT champion. I know he beat MJF. So I don't know. I don't watch AEW. I tried. I tried. I even tried to write stories about AEW, but it just didn't work out for me. But I would still watch Double or Nothing. Check it out. Give my predictions. And it's wrestling. It's promotion. I might not like that pie that they're serving, but I do like food. So we do have to talk a little bit sad news. Rebel. She AEW wrestler personality. She revealed that she has terminal ALS. This comes just months after battling lung cancer. She made a video where she thanked Tony Khan and fans for her support. This is bigger than wrestling. This is an emotional moment, and you don't want to see anybody like that. So prayers are out to her. Hopefully everything works out. ALS is a disease. I remember we did all that ice bucket challenge. Like 10 years ago. But, yeah, that's sad. My prayers out to her. Hopefully everything works out. Speaking about everything that works out in a lighter note, I hope everything works out this weekend for UFC. Shemaya versus Strickland, because they are, Sean Strickland is doing Sean Strickland things and saying a lot of weird things. And, Shemaya is just like, whatever, dude, bring it on. Those two are going to fight this weekend for the UFC Middleweight Championship in Newark, New Jersey. I've been there. Pictures. So I don't know. We're going to give our thoughts next show. I don't know when the next show will be, but it'll probably be before Saturday. Chimaev, I think, is, if I can give you my honest thoughts about the main event, it's either going to be second round submission Chimaev or 50-43 Chimaev. I don't see Sean Strickland winning this fight. That's not a biased opinion. This is a strategic, whatever you want to call me, sports fan that watches sports family. And then Joshua Vaughn, he's got a lot to prove because his last fight was for the UFC Flyweight Championship, and Pantoja broke his arm, gave it a van. But this is a tough challenge. This is going to be are you the real champion, or are you just holding it till Pantoja comes back? But Tatsuo Taira, tough opponent. Alexander Volkov is facing Waldo Cortez Acosta. That's going to be a heavyweight fight. Cortez Acosta has been on a roll, just knocking out people, 3 straight fights. Volkov has always been that guy. He's right there. It's right there. That heavyweight championship is right there, and he's never been in a UFC heavyweight championship fight. So I don't know. This is either gonna be another step backwards for Volkov and a huge step forwards for Waldo. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Brady, he was that close too. He was this close to getting that UFC welterweight championship spot, but Michael Morales ended this dream in November. And then Joaquin Buckley, what can you say about this dude? Just fight. Sorry, something stuck in my tooth. He last lost against Usman, but still, he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight winning streak before he lost to Usman. And this fight's going to be awesome. King Bobby Green versus Jeremy Stevens. Somebody's going to get knocked out in that fight. That is not going to be a, that's going to be a fight. That's not going to be a mixed martial arts contest. That's going to be a fight. Jeremy Stevens, he's back after being gone for a while. Went down to featherweight, back to lightweight. Hasn't really won a fight in a while. Kind of last won a huge fight in 2018, won a PFL bout in 2022, but he was doing good in boxing. He did bare knuckle boxing where he went 3-1 with the loss coming to Mike Perry in October. So he's back in the UFC. Who the fuck is that guy? Which hey man, If I was Jeremy Stevens, I would call out Conor McGregor and be like, you want to go? You want to go? I'll show you who the fuck I am. That'd be a good fight. And then the other card, Jim Miller. Legendary Jim Miller is coming back to fight. He's had, I don't know how many fights. Let's see, most wins in UFC history. Most wins in UFC history, 27. Now, I know, like, some of those are no names, but 27 wins is crazy. Most wins in the UFC lightweight division. Most bouts in UFC history, 46. 46 bouts in UFC. And he's only getting better, you know? The dude started fighting in the UFC in 2008. Do you remember where you were in 2008? I don't. I was like 20, a long time ago, you know? And he's never really, like, you know, been somebody with, you know, you can't knock him out. You got to either submit him. He's lost his last few fights by decision, submission, but that was Oliveira. KO knee from Hooker that kind of knocked out a bear. Decision. Submission rear naked choke by Michael Chiesa. Decision. A KO head kick and punches by Donald Cerrone. Submission by Nate Diaz, which I was at. I was at that one. Yes, the only UFC fight I've ever been to. I was at. It was in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And then, you know, a decision loss to Benson Henderson. But, damn. Seeing Jim Miller back against Jared Gordon, a really good fighter, a good test. That's going to be a good fight. I wish I wasn't working, but we're going to give all information next week. We're going to talk about it. We do have to talk about this, though. You know, since we're all bringing up the UFC, Dana White, the goof. The big bald goof. He was at that the presidential White House correspondent dinner, and during the chaos, he kind of was like, wow, this is awesome. That's cool. Let's see, White House dinner reaction. So, yeah, it was like, I don't know, not something that looks like, you know, Dana White showed up to the White House dinner, sparked reactions. This one's no different. It was just weird. It was like, oh my God, just seeing them, seeing the Secret Service was so cool. I'm like, dude, the place is getting shot up. You should be like underneath your deck, underneath your table, and not like thinking it's so cool. Let's see, Dana White, the shooting at the White House. They were screaming, get down. I didn't get down. It was effing awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's more exciting about active shootings than the fights, somebody says on Reddit. This is a prime Dana moment. You just know he's been bored with the UFC recently, and this is what it takes to get his adrenaline running after 25 years of watching guys give each other brain damage for $10,000. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was Cyril. Oh no. Bald bro thinks he's Jason fucking Statham. Bro thinks he's such a badass. Don't do drugs, kids. You start getting shot at. So, you know, the whole thing was political theater, or however you feel about it. But yeah, I don't think I would have the same reaction. I think if I was in an active shooter, I would duck, make obviously like some other people of the White House correspondent dinner, make sure my wife and babe is safe. Actually, my wife and babe will be the same person, but you know, I wouldn't say, hey, that's fucking awesome. But yeah, speaking of one thing that's not fucking awesome, Karate Combat had another fight the other day, and I like Karate Combat. It's different, it's unique, and you know, it's good to see some people that you don't really do good that's not a sentence, do good, have, you know, like a nice little karate second part in life. But the one thing I don't like about is this goofball. His name is Winged C. Yes, Winged C. I guess during a fight, Winged C came out and, crashes a fight and gets into a brawl. Let's see. Karate Combat has messed around with influencer fighting, and now influencer fighting is messing around with Karate Combat. This is from MMA Mania. Karate Combat 61 went down and was supposed to be headlined by Patricky Pitbull before a pre-fight brawl led to a cut under their eye, so that's bad. Wing C, a.k.a. Malcolm Schuler, is a ridiculously tattooed fighter best known for showboating and street beef matches. By the way, shout out to Street Beefs. Love it. I watch that stuff all the time. All the time. Me and the boys used to watch that all the time. He's got a variety of amateur fights in various organizations. Oh, plus a win in Karate Combat. Wow, where he finished his opponent with a first round TKO. He once showed up at Karate Combat 61, but this time his entrance to the ring was unauthorized. During the Claudio Ribeiro fight versus Curtis Millender, which, they're talking about, former UFC fighter, Wing C jumped into the pit with a white cane stumbling around the ring as if he was blind. The referee was forced to pause the fight and corral Wing C out of the fighting area to a chorus of boos. UFC and Bellator vet Curtis Millender was particularly angry about the incident, and he made that known at the Fighter Hotel following the event where Wing C was once again on hand. Footage of the initial run-in was captured on film, but the aftermath was with Wing C bleeding all over the lobby and while yelling at Millender. Cops were called and Wing C was torched from the property. So, the whole fighter-influencer combo is a growing trend in combat sports. Response to Wing C's stunt was overwhelmingly negative. And yes, it was negative, Wing C. That is why this week you are getting the Bratwurst Award, because you're ridiculous, okay? Wing C, you got a dumb tattoo on your head. The only person that can pull that off is Tommy Invincible. And, I've seen videos of you, Wing C, and I'm not impressed by your performance. And you need to stop. This is why you get punched in the face. I will watch real quick. We'll watch your. We're gonna watch his fight, his Karate Combat 59 fight. So this guy comes out. He has a bald head. He has a tattoo around his head. He has a big red cross on his chest. Fight start. He's running like Mortal Kombat. He's swinging his opponent. Jaden Lee. Jaden Lee goes for. Oh, he also has a little. What's with this circle, like the darkened circle on fighters? Oh, okay. Got the clinch on the ground. He can't be on the ground because this is Karate Combat. Referee stands him back up. Back spinning kick from Jaden. Wing C on the offense. Knee to the stomach. And now they separate. Yeah, he's got doofy tattoos. Then another knee. Another unimpressive exchange. This guy's throwing high knees like he's a spokesperson from diapers. Oh, big combination from Wing C. I don't know why I'm watching this. Just killing time. Oh, spinning back fist that landed nowhere. Wing C hits him. Oh, another kick. This is like amateur hour. Holy shit. I hope this is not the whole fight, because I'm not going to watch anything more than this. Yeah, so Wing C gets him down, throws him down like I throw down my little nephew. Gets on top of him, rains weak punches, and the referee stops it. What a shit show. Holy crap. I want 1 minute and 29 seconds left back on my life. Jesus Christ. But yeah, Wing C, listen, now, I don't want to say anything, because, it takes the water to get into the cage, and it does. It takes a special human being to fight and punch somebody in the face, but you're fucking goofball. Fucking goofball. So that's why you got the Bratwurst Award of the week. UFC 328 this weekend. Shimai versus Strickland. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give our predictions, but pretty much know what's going to happen. MLB, we need to talk about this because this is just heartbreaking. John Sterling, the long-time radio voice for the Yankees, died today at 87. If you grew up in the New York, New Jersey, any area where had Yes, he was your voice, your childhood. I used to listen to him in pizzerias. And my dad would have the Yes Network on, and I know he was a radio guy, but you would still hear John Sterling's, his calls, his iconic radio voice for 36 seasons. It was crazy, it's just, the Yankees win. The Yankees win. Burn, baby, burn from Bernie Williams. It's an A-bomb from A-Rod, Rodriguez. Sterling also broadcasting over 5,000 consecutive games from September 1989 to July 2009, covering every at-bat of Derek Jeter's career and every inning of Mariano Rivera's. New York State Broadcast Hall of Fame in 2026. And just hearing his voice, I mean, I can play a little bit of it like John Sterling. Let's see this. Let me see. John Sterling calls Derek Jeter Grand Slam. Let's see. Let's just hear some of his legendary calls. Let's see.
It is the bottom of the ninth. Now Kim.
Let's hear a little.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball's high. It is far. It is gone. I don't believe it.
Oh man, just hearing stuff like that is just. Here you go. One of the greatest. Yeah, just hearing him and just growing up and just. Oh yeah, this is when Judge hit 62.
There it goes. Deep left, it is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League.
So yeah, that was John Sterling. Some of his calls, like if you grew up, I grew up in New York, and just, this sucks. Such a good guy, since just a voice of my childhood, just, one of a kind. A lot of people don't say, one of a kind. Retired in April 2024, and it's just he will. If there is a Yankee, well, I mean there is. There's like 20 of them. He needs to get his just a recognition, man. Just like maybe like a Monument Park. Just put his name with like a microphone. But legend. So rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to him. We gotta move on to. We still got a lot to talk about. We got the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, but Detroit Tigers ace and two-time defending American League Cy Young Award winner Tariq Skubal will have arthroscopic surgery for loose bodies in his left elbow. I don't know what loose bodies means, but damn. I mean, Cy Young back-to-back. I bring that up because he is the Cy Young winner. A little bit about my fantasy team. We lost this week. We're 2-4, but we'll bounce back. But we're still talking about some teams that have not bounced back because we need to talk about the playoffs. Yes, the first round is officially done in the NBA. Detroit comes back. The Magic ran out on Orlando. Detroit comes back to win, being down 3-1. What a series win for Detroit. The number one seed almost blew it. Magic was so tough, okay? Cavaliers versus Raptors. Tough game 7. You had so many game 7s in the Eastern Conference, but the Cavaliers defeated the Raptors. They're not like us. Somebody played Kendrick Lamar when the Cavaliers won over, Drake's Toronto Raptors. Knicks dominant win, the only game that didn't go to game 7. And the 76ers came back to ruin Boston in game 7 of a win. Like, you ever watch a game and you're like, I don't want to watch this because if they come back, like a team you don't like, you feel like you're the one to blame. Like, if I didn't watch this, what would happen? Or if I did watch this show, they would have won. But the Celtics are gone. Goodbye. And in the Western Conference, the Thunder just sweep the Suns. LeBron, the GOAT, he did it by himself, beat the Rockets. No Luka, he had Austin Reeves. He has now won more playoff series than franchises. He has won more playoff games without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves than Michael Jordan did with Scottie Pippen. Just saying that. Timberwolves embarrassed the Nuggets. I don't know what the Nuggets need to do, but they did not look like their former championship self. I know that was a few years ago, but when you have Jokic, the MVP, and Murray is Spurs dominated the Trailblazers. We knew that was going to happen. So we have the Pistons and the Cavaliers, and the Knicks and the 76ers. And in the Western Conference, we have the Thunder and the Lakers, and the Timberwolves and the Spurs. And right now, let's see, the Knicks with another huge win, taking a 1-0 lead against the 76ers, 137-98. I'm telling you, the Knicks might take it all the way. And right now, surprisingly, for some, CHAD LE GEPETTE is going a little anxious right now. The Spurs and Timberwolves are tied up at 84 apiece with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But yeah, Cavaliers came back last night to win. Pistons came back last night to win. So we have tomorrow's games, Cavaliers and Pistons, the Lakers and the Thunder. So, I love when it's first round because there's so much sports going on. And now after the previous rounds, and it's less and less sports. But Cavaliers, Pistons, Lakers, and Thunders, wow. So, like I said, if you don't have a horse in the race, what a good playoffs, So I like any combination. Pistons and Thunder be great. Pistons and Lakers, that rivalry. Pistons and Timberwolves. Pistons and Spurs. Cavaliers and Thunder, that's something new. Cavaliers and Lakers. Cavaliers versus Lakers in the finals. LeBron, I want to see that. Cavaliers and Timberwolves. Cavaliers and Spurs. Knicks versus Thunder would be great. That's probably going to be the finals. Knicks versus Lakers. What a legendary franchises back to back. Oh, I would love to see that. I'm getting hyped. Knicks and Timberwolves. Knicks and Spurs. I think that was like the last time the Knicks were in the NBA Finals. I could be wrong. 76ers and Thunder. 76ers Lakers. 76ers Thunders and 76ers Spurs. So I'm excited. I'm happy for it. We got no basketball news per se, but this is a really good time for just to enjoy basketball. Knicks dominate the 76ers. I don't see a hard test. After Pistons go to Game 7, almost lose to the Magic, Cavaliers and the Raptors going to Game 7, and the 76ers, who are dominated right now, I can see the Knicks truly ending up in the finals. But, that's not only the playoff. That's not the only playoffs you're going to talk about. The NHL playoffs is in the second round now. And, unfortunately, like we talked about last time, my Penguins were eliminated in the first round. I did not know that. I've been focused on basketball. But right now we got the VKG Golden Knights taking on the Anaheim Ducks. And the Golden Knights are up 1-0. I'm going to put that on after the show. Colorado with a huge win over Minnesota. Colorado and Minnesota. You know how many points they scored yesterday? You know how many points Colorado scored last night? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, 7, but 8, nope, not 9 goals. 9-6, that's 15 goals. Holy crap. They had a little thing that the Avalanche scored more goals, more points than some NFL teams did last season. And the Raiders were on there 4 times. But yes, Hurricanes won against the Flyers. I don't know. The Hurricanes looks like they are the answer to the Eastern Conference. They're up 2-0. What? They took a 2-0 lead. I only think they took a 1-0 lead. When did they win? Today in overtime. Wow. So that's crazy. The Canadians did come back to win against Tampa Bay, so they are going to move on to face Buffalo, our Sabres. So, Buffalo, Montreal, Carolina, Philly, Vegas, Anaheim, and Colorado, Minnesota. So absolutely insane. Like I said, I don't mind any of those combinations. Colorado, Buffalo, Minnesota, Montreal, Carolina, VKG, Anaheim, Philly. So, wow, that's insane. I didn't know. And the Golden Knights are winning right now. So, we might see Carolina Hurricanes versus the Golden Knights. But still you can't knock the Sabres. They this show launched their franchise around. So, wow, I gotta watch it. I gotta put that on. So, there's no NFL news. It's still off season. We talked about Mendoza, obviously. He'll get his picture on the wall soon. But there is also some football going on right now. The UFL, yes, the what is it? UFL. I don't know why I still have my home screen stuck on Bing. United Football League. We look at the standings. Let's see. The Defenders are 5-1. Battlehawks 4-2. Storm 4-2. Renegades 3-3. Stallions 2-4. Kings 2-4. Aviators 2-4. And the Gamblers 2-1. Is that? No, that's Texas Gamblers. So yeah, United Football League. I haven't watched the game, but hey, it's if you like football and you want to watch football, check it out. I don't have team. Let's see the teams. What are the teams? The Birmingham Stallions, the Columbus Aviators, the DC Defenders, the Dallas Renegades, the Houston Gamblers, the Louisville Kings, the Orlando Storm, and the St. Louis Battlehawks. So, I don't know how many weeks. This is week 6. The schedule, let's see. What is their schedule like? Is that it? Week 7? That's it. I think it's just week 7. Oh no, week 8. Hold on, let me get the big one. Oh god, they have week 10. Then they have the playoffs on June 7th and the championship on June 13th. So we were to stay very close to the UFL. Last time we were on, we picked our Kentucky Derby winner. What was it? No, not that. I don't want you. What did we pick for the Kentucky Derby winner? We wanted it to. I missed it too because we were doing the show, and the Kentucky Derby is so quick. Oh, Chief Wallaby, he came in 4th. So 4th place. You don't get a medal, but you won $250,000. But the winner of this 2026 Kentucky Derby was Golden Tempo. Yes, Golden Tempo. You won $3.1 million. You're 31 underdog. So, Renegade came in 2nd. Ocelli 3rd. Chief Wallaby 4th. And so on and so on. So Happy came in 9th. Not very happy. Further Ado came in 11th. So yeah, that is, I think that's like the Kentucky Derby. So I don't know what the next one is, or that's the it's the first leg of the Triple Crown. Okay, so what's the next one? We know it's the Kentucky Derby. Well, then the Preakness. Okay, the Preakness is going to happen May 16th. So we're going to talk about the Preakness coming up. And the Belmont Stakes. That's in Belmont, New York. I have a lot of friends and family in that area. So that is June 7th. Or no, June 6th. So, we'll pick our horses. Maybe we'll stick with Chief Wallaby. If coming 4th in the Kentucky Derby, you can try to do better in the next few races. So, good for who won that? Won the horse. As long as the horse gets a lot of carrots and treatment, horse racing is okay with me. I once had a let's say an older figure in my life. He would just always bet horses. He would come home and watch horse races. And on Long Island, you can go to the OTB, off-track betting. I thought it meant all-time betting, and bet with the horses. So that's what he did. But we're going to end the show pretty much soon. We got to talk about Star Wars. That's going to take a huge chunk at the end of the show. But unfortunately for some, I've never flown it, but Spirit Airlines has, what do you call it? It's shut down. No more Spirit Airlines. Now, Spirit was always, I've never took Spirit. I've taken like Frontier a lot, JetBlue, but Spirit always had like that joking, like, oh, you're taking Spirit Airlines? Yeah. But it was cheap airfare. And it sucks because you got to think about it. That is a whole airline, not only shutting down, but people losing their jobs and the affordability too, with things getting so out of craziness. Spirit Airlines was affordable. You know, you might have had to, push the airplane and sit in the back with, your luggage, but it was an airline. It was our little airline. We might have made fun of it, but, shut down, ultra low cost airline. So, rest in peace, Spirit. They were around for 62 years, 43 as a charter airline. So they are no longer in operations. So, damn, like I said, cheap airfare. You want to go to California real quick, take you about $27. Now, thousands, like I said, 1,000 employees and travelers, especially if you had plans to go somewhere on Spirit, all you got to do is get a refund, and then that's probably not going to count enough to where you want to go. So, it's a big stink of poo. It's a big stink of poo. But, Spirit Airlines, let's have a moment of silence for Spirit Airlines. Okay. Let's talk about it. Today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. Let me know what you think about Star Wars. It's so much, okay? Star Wars. We know it. George Lucas. Original film. 1977. Luke and Layla. This is actually Babe's shirt. I have one. This one says his Leia. And I have an orange one that has Luke or Han. It says his Han. Right? I think that's how it goes. It's cute. I read a picture. But, what do you say? It had the A New Hope with George Lucas. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, just, R2-D2, 3CPO, Darth Vader. If you ever wanted to see, a really good documentary about David Prowse, who was the original actor in Darth Vader, check it out. You know me, I'm a huge documentary nerd. 2015, I Am Your Father. It deals with the actor David Prowse years after he portrayed Darth Vader and finding out that he was dubbed over his lines by James Earl Jones and just other things. So, Jabba the Hutt, Chugabaka Chakapo, Princess Leia, the TIE Fighter, use the Force, Luke. And, Luke and Han and Chewie are all there getting the medals. And that was the first one. Second one, The Empire Strikes Back. This one, let's see. 3 years after the destruction of the Death Star, the Imperial fleet led by Darth Vader, one of the greatest villains of all time. It's just mostly, forcing the rebels, the X-Wing fighter with R2-D2. After the group joins the rebel fleet, Luke's missing hand. Oh, yes, this is the one where they reveal that Luke, I am your father. Which is not how it goes. It says, how did the line go? Obi-Wan told me that you killed my father. No, I am your father. And the twist is still generational. And just Luke just cutting off his hand and falling down, and it's just insane. That The Empire Strikes Back is one of the great sequels. And Return of the Jedi, this is 83. I think I had a poster up. I think I gave it to my buddy. This one, you got Lando, Yoda. How can I forget Yoda, the little Jedi Master, centuries years old. Use Force, Luke. Or how does Yoda speak? Force, you must use, Luke. Or Skywalker, I don't know, the little green guy. And then you have Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian. Chewbacca's still there. The Emperor. Oh, you can remember the Emperor. The lightning out of his fingers. Great stuff. Then you got the Ewoks and stuff. So that was the original trilogy. That was 77 to 83. And then they're like, you know what, 1999, we're going to the prequels. And this is when I started loving it. I'm not lying to you. I love the prequels. I love Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson. Young Anakin Skywalker, who later becomes Darth Vader, Jake Lloyd, who should have not been bullied and should get respect. Okay? Natalie Portman, Padme Amidala, What a great character she was. Obi-Wan Kenobi, younger one, played by Ian McGregor. Then my favorite character of all time, not lying, if you watch the show for 58 episodes, you would know I love Jar Jar Binks. Miso, such a great character. I love Jar Jar Binks. He's a goofball like me. Then you got Darth Sidious, C-3PO, when he's like getting built by Anakin. Yoda, Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson with the purple lightsaber. That was cool. And then we get, then you find out, let's see, what's his name? I want to make sure, I don't know why he's not on the list. Come on, where is he? Darth Maul. One of my favorite villains, Darth Maul. Badass. Not only did he have the lightsaber, he had the two lightsabers that come out. He was such a badass. I'm glad they did stuff with him like now, because his death was kind of silly. But that was The Phantom Menace, all about Anakin Skywalker, who turns into Darth Vader, who is, Luke Skywalker and Layla's. By the way, Luke and Layla are brother and sister, and Luke and Layla kiss. It's kind of weird. And then Layla tells Han, I love you, and says, I know. And then he's in carbonite, which is like this metal stuff, and he's like a nice refrigerator door. And then you have Attack of the Clones, which, 10 years after the battle, Anakin is now Hayden Christensen, and he's looking good, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is still like, hey, I'm still your buddy, I'm still your Jedi Knight, but you're kind of like acting weird, man. And then Natalie Portman's like, hey, man, you're 14 and I'm 18, you're kind of cute, that's kind of creepy. But, Padme, former Queen of Naboo. Samuel L. Jackson's still there with Mace Windu with his purple Jedi or lightsaber. He's kicking ass. Jango Fett, which is the son of Boba Fett, who is like a badass bounty hunter. Then you have Count Dooku, a former Jedi Master and the old mentor of Obi-Wan's late master, Qui-Gon Jinn, who died in the first one. Rest in peace, Qui-Gon Jinn. And then, everybody else portrays their roles, and it's just, moving on, seeing Anakin kind of turn to the dark side and be like, what's all these kids here, And then you have Revenge of the Sith, which is the full Jedi turn of Anakin Skywalker. He kills a bunch of kids. He knocks up Princess Padme, and then she dies in childbirth, and Luke and Layla. Luke goes with Uncle Ben to the Sand Planet, and then Layla goes with what's his nuts, the other guy to the rich area, and they don't know their brother and sister until they make out, which is weird. R2D2, C-3PO. Darth Sidious kind of gets his whole I am Darth Sidious, I am bad, and Anakin's like, I'm bad too. And then Anakin and Obi-Wan, they fight. Obi gets the high ground. He's like, stop doing this, Hayden Christensen. And Hayden Christensen's like, no, my wife's dead. And then all of a sudden, he loses his arms and legs, and he's in lava. And then they're like, nope, we need to save you. So the end is just Anakin Skywalker turning into Darth Vader. He goes, like that. It's like, hey, Padme's dead. And then it ends with, no. And that is the beginning of Darth Vader. And then, 10 years later, J.J. Abrams is like, let me make a sequel. So now we have The Force Awakens, which features Daisy Ridley as Rey, a scavenger, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, the son of Layla and Han Solo, who's like a bad guy. He has an awesome lightsaber. Adam Driver, hunky of a man. Then you got John Boyega as Finn. He's kind of like, he was like a stormtrooper. And he's like, I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore. So he's like, I'm going to join the good side. Harrison Ford's good. Carrie Fisher's good. Oscar Isaac is Hodemeron, who's like an X-Wing fighter. Chewbacca's still there. He's still there doing it with Han Solo, and Daisy's out there, or Rey's out there. They find the Millennium Falcon, and they're like, hey, Han Solo's like, thanks for finding my ride. I misplaced it 20 years ago, and now I found it. C-3PO is there. Snoke, who's now like the artificial leader of the First Order, which is like now the bad group. You know, he's like the leader of the First Order. And then you got Luke Hamill, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi. He's in hiding. He's somewhere by himself. And, you know, all of a sudden, you know, Finn goes finding a lightsaber that belonged to Luke. And then she goes to some planet. And Luke's over there drinking some milk. And he's like, hey, thanks for finding my lightsaber. But I don't know who you are. And, you know, thanks for the lightsaber. And then the next one, The Last Jedi. I've never really seen any of these movies. Last Jedi, you know, still got Mark Hamill, who's like, I'm a Jedi Master, you know, and I'll teach you. I'll be okay. All right. And then Carrie Fisher, I think this is one of her last movies that she passed away with. So rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. Kylo Ren. Is this the one? He's a Han Solo. He's a Han Solo's son, Layla's son, Luke's nephew. But I don't know if I missed it. This might be the first one. Like I said, I don't remember these the sequel ones. Han gets killed by Kylo Ren. Now, a lot of people say that Han pulled the button and was like, ugh, you know, and saves his son. But Adam Ren is, and then Adam Ren, why am I saying Adam Ren? Kylo Ren and what's her nuts? Rey, they're having like mental connections. They're like, hey, come to the dark side. And Rey's like, no, I like it out here. And Finn is like, I don't know what's going on. And Poe Dameron's like, you know, I'm in the Resistance. C-3PO, Captain Phasma, badass character. You know, I don't watch too much. Like I said, I don't watch it, but, you know, this is just the movies. The Stableheads recount the story of Luke Skywalker. Afterwards, one of them moves a broom with the Force. So, you know, Rey's kind of like, I have the Force now. And then we don't know who Rey is. A lot of people think Rey is Rey Skywalker. Maybe it's Luke's daughter. Maybe she's Rey Vader. Maybe she's Darth Vader's daughter. Or you know what I mean. Adam Driver, Ben Solo. He was like, you know what? We're gonna have a shirtless fight in the woods, and then they're like, okay, and then Smoke or Palpatine comes back. Is like, I'm Palpatine. I am resurrected now. I'm the leader of the First Order, and it turns out to be Rey's grandfather. Yes, Rey is a Palpatine. Plot twist. So that's what happens with Rey. But at the end of the movie, it's like she goes back to like Rey visits Luke's abandoned homestead of Tatooine and buries Luke and Layla's lightsaber. A passerby asks her name. Seeing Luke and Layla's Force spirits nearby, she responds with her full name, Rey Skywalker. So yeah, I didn't really watch any of these last trilogies. I love the prequels. Phantom Menace by far is my favorite one of the film. I really do. I'm not lying. And Jar Jar Binks, you know, he goes all the way to be a council member. You know, he might be a clumsy Gungan, but he ends up as a general in the Gungan Guard, representative of the Gungan race, and a senator of sector or whatever. So, but that's only the movies. Okay, that's the movies. You have standalones like the Clone Wars. Rogue One, I did watch. That Rogue One is a movie. I want to say that one is the one where they gotta blow up the space trip or something. I don't remember it. But everybody dies in that movie. Solo, a Star Wars story about young Han Solo and Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian, kind of like the younger. Then we have The Mandalorian and Grogu, which the Mandalorian, he does take off his mask. Grogu is like this like little Yoda guy who's like, he says like, what I don't know, I never watched it. This is a way and stuff. They have the you know, just the movies, the live action, the holiday specials, the video games. They also had you know, Babe Loves Theme Parks, so Star Tours, Disneyland, the Hyperspace Mountain, you know, just some merchandise. I'm wearing merchandise right now. So just so much other things. The historical influences, you know. the cool buttons, like the lightsaber and the blaster, pew, pew, pew. Spaceballs was a ripoff of it. 1987 space opera. This is so much to talk about. Star Wars Day. It's just about all Star Wars. Tomorrow's Revenge of the 5th, aka Revenge of the 6th, which is May 6th. That'd be whatever. And just shout out to George Lucas. And just everything he did. Those are all his characters from his mind, books, comics, and novels, and films, and video games. So, tell me who your favorite Star Wars characters are. Tell me what your favorite Star Wars film is. I know, sometimes, what's the best way to watch Star Wars? A lot of people start from episode 4 and 6, watch 1 and 3, then ended with 7 and 9. I would watch episodes 1 and 3, 4 and 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9. But, I think I'm going to go, watch, a recap of the Star Wars franchise. But, overall, it's a great film. It's a great series. It's, beloved by everybody. I think, don't hate me. Brad said that. It's a little bit better than Star Trek. The third grossing highest franchise in cinematic history. So, congrats to Star Wars and Lucasfilms and George Lucas. But May the 4th be with you. That is a Star Trek hand gesture. Don't shoot me. Let's see, Star Wars or Official Galaxy. Oh yeah, they always start with like a screen, like in a galaxy far, far away. Maybe I'll make that when I upload this video. In a 2-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas, Nevada. 1 man, 2 dogs, and a babe. But yeah, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia. Great characters, but we've been talking for a lot now. Over an hour. I can talk about Star Wars for a while. The Skywalker Saga was nominated for Academy Awards. Together, the spin-off combined box office revenue over $10 billion. So, yeah. I think it's made by Disney now. I don't know who owns it. I think Disney owns it. But anyway, guys and girls and boys and Jedis and Sith Lords, we're going to get off. We're going to talk about it. I had a really fun show. I really did. I love doing this. And guys, like I said, the views are viewing up. We're getting more views. It's still going to subscribe, but hey. Ready? We're going to do a recap. Let's get it going. All right. So, Raw happened. Braun Breaker speared Seth Rollins about 35% of the times. Backlash is this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I won't be able to watch it, but hey, I'll let you know. We went down a little history of Backlash itself. Roman Reigns versus TKO. Don't mess with Tribal Chief. Prayers go to Rebel and her battle with ALS. My heart is out with you. UFC 322, whatever it was. Chimaev versus Strickland. Can't wait for that. Wing C, you goofball, stay out of the fights. You won the Bratwurst Award. Long-time radio host and a childhood voice of my childhood. John Sterling died at 87 today. NBA, let's see, NBA right now. Let's check out who won the game between the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Take a 1-0 lead against the Spurs, 104-102. So that is live updates. The Knicks are looking really good. NHL, let's look at the Golden Knights game. Golden Knights still up 1-0 against the Ducks. So, playoff time, baby. We looked at the UFL scoreboards, with Kentucky Derby, rest in peace, Airlines, and May the 4th be with you. And this Jedi is getting off. So, love yourself, love each other, love sports. We'll be back on. I gotta try. I got a lot of 12 to 8s that eat up my time, but we'll definitely get on before the UFC fight. So, I'm getting off now. Thanks for everybody coming in. Make sure, guys. Follow me on Twitter, Brat Said That X, Instagram, Brat Jackson, YouTube, Brat Said That Tube, Spotify, Brat Jackson, and Bodyslam.net for all your wrestling news. I'm gonna get off, and yeah, don't blow up a planet. All right, guys, bye.